Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Well, I made a video not so long ago talking about my experience with recovery from addiction, but I wanted to talk about just what early recovery was like. What did I actually do to be successful? Because when I came in with a lot of people in 2012, and most of them aren't around anymore. So what did I do? What was so special about me? Nothing. What did I do to remain here, still abstinent, still in recovery in 2025? And so, the first thing really was that I had to make this decision that I was just done, that I wasn't going to continue to justify stuff. And there's something in the literature, someplace where it says, the inability to stop with the most sincere desire, something like that, is what we mean when we say we have absolutely no choice. But we do have a choice once we stop trying to justify our using. And that was a big deal. I had to stop justifying getting loaded. And, well, I have to because I can't handle this, or because I'm going to withdraw, or because, whatever it happened to be. That was no longer acceptable. I had to make the decision that I just wasn't going to continue to justify it. And every day, I wasn't going to get loaded no matter how I felt, no matter what happened. And then I needed to get involved with my own recovery. I did go to a partial hospital. I think it was like an outpatient, 3 days a week sort of thing. I didn't go to a detox and an inpatient, but a lot of my friends did. It takes what it takes, whatever works for you. But I got involved with something like that. But then, I got involved, in my case, with Narcotics Anonymous, and I went to a meeting every single day, which I thought was insane. Some kind of zombie mind control God called brainwashing. But I went every day because I had nothing else going on. And I was completely, I was petrified and didn't know what to do. And I found out that I could actually go to 15 meetings a week in my area without a car. And so that's what I did. Probably the first year I was going 15 meetings a week. The first 2 years, I think I maybe missed a few days, but I went just about every single day. And then I started, my sponsor said, well, maybe you can cut down about 5. And now, with 12 years, it's about 2, maybe 3 sometimes. If I go less than 2, my head is a little bit wonky, or, it keeps me on more of a level field. But it's not my life anymore. It's my lifeline. But in early recovery, early recovery is very, very different than what the rest of your life will be. But I'm here to tell you, early recovery is like the first 2 years. At least it was in my case. It takes a while. And so I didn't focus on things like job, car, all that sort of stuff. I focused on, real basic stuff. What do I have to do today? Don't get loaded. Don't use no matter what. Talk to somebody in recovery no matter what. If I feel like I want to get high, talk to somebody right now. Go to a meeting. Get involved, So they told me to get service commitments, which I thought was insane, and get somebody else to do that. But I started helping to become involved with the group. And that was the real basic idea. It was I became a part of something and started to have some kind of purpose, because I really had no purpose by that period of time. And, I got involved. I started reading the literature all the time. I had somebody to, not to brainwash me, but just to kind of put my thinking back a little bit. It's okay, all right, because it's very easy for me to get way off track. And because the people who wrote it were people like me, they kind of knew how I thought. And so, I believe no matter what treatment modality, if you will, that you choose, you're probably going to have something like that. And you're probably going to have something like meetings every day. And you're probably going to have some other people in recovery that you can talk to. I found somebody very early on with, the first 30 days, about 30 days, I found this guy that I asked to sponsor me that just scared the hell out of me, that had tons and tons of time, but also just had his life together. He had something that I wanted, and it wasn't material things. It was just how he handled life and how he was able to navigate it and how he carried himself. And there were other guys that, were similar that I really kind of gravitated towards. And I had a lot of other friends in early recovery, and we kind of hung out as well. And a lot of those relationships are gone now because the people are gone, or some of them have changed. But I got involved in this community, and I kept myself, in the center of the herd, which is cliche, but it's what I did. I kept myself really, really involved. And I made recovery a giant priority in my life. It wasn't going to be something that I was going to be doing to that extent forever. But for the first couple of years especially, I was super, super involved. And I remain involved now. And, over time, it's been something that, it's not always in the forefront of my mind, but it's something I remind myself, or I keep aware of, that my, my proclivity to not be able to just use one, not getting, using anything, no matter how I feel, and staying connected, because my thinking can get distorted. And that's one of the reasons that, the steps were very, very important. I started to have a different way of navigating life, and I got involved with therapy as well, but it's something I still make a priority. Does it run my life anymore? No. But it's something I remain connected to. But in the very beginning, I had to throw myself in, despite all my misgivings, despite my attitude, despite, all the objections I had, and despite the fact that, I just wasn't even sure if I wanted to stop. I just wanted my life to stop sucking. But that's what early recovery was like. That's what worked. All the things they tell you, it's very, very cliche. Go to meetings, get a sponsor, get service commitments, read the literature, go through the steps, all that kind of stuff, talk to people every day. It was actually, very, very helpful, and it made all the difference. Just making a commitment to recovery and sticking to it day after day. But I just had to do it one day at a time. I didn't have to, not focusing on the big long term. Where am I going to be here and there, and I have to get this. What do I need to do today? And that has made all the difference.